Good morning. I'm Shane Martin. I am the Provost and Chief Academic Officer at Seattle University. And it is my distinct pleasure on behalf of President Eduardo Peñalver and our faculty and staff to welcome all of you onto our campus today for this conversation on artificial intelligence and healthcare with a unique perspective of Jesuit education. Tech ethics is central to Seattle University's thinking and to our curriculum and strategic focus. As some of you may know, Seattle University is in the midst of implementing a very ambitious set of strategic goals and directions, a 5-year plan to refocus Seattle University as a university of distinction for the future. And central to this endeavor is the way we're thinking about our curriculum across all disciplines and in a few key domains. And central to that is the way we're thinking about the rapid increases of technology, its good uses and misuses. And of course, as a Jesuit university committed to our set of values, we're also thinking specifically about ethical and moral uses of technology. In many ways, Seattle University, as one of 27 Jesuit universities in the United States and close to 300 worldwide, is in fact uniquely positioned to bring our work in ethics, our work in values, together with the conversations with our faculty in technology to provide something for our greater Seattle region, the country, and the world in thought leadership on how we can think about opportunities and ethical challenges as we move forward with AI technology and specifically in the healthcare space. Our faculty across disciplines have been very busy and actively working, publishing, teaching, and exercising thought leadership in these areas. For example, our School of Law has initiated the Technology, Innovation, Law, and Ethics program, referred to as the TILE program. Our Albers School of Business and Economics has developed a cybersecurity leadership master's program, which launches this fall in an online format. And we are also developing a cybersecurity program focused more heavily in computing, which will launch the following year. Our College of Arts and Sciences faculty are busy putting together a science and technology studies curriculum. And those are just a few examples of how our faculty are engaged in these important topics. I'd specifically like to thank all of our supporters who have helped make today possible, but specifically I would like to thank Microsoft for their support, which made our conference last year possible and supports this year's conference. It gives me a distinct pleasure today to announce our continuing efforts and focus in this area and the launch more formally of our Tech Ethics Initiative at Seattle University. I'm also very pleased to announce our inaugural director of Seattle University's Tech Ethics Initiative, Dr. Onur Bakiner, who will lead this effort going forward. And he will serve as the MC for today's conference. Professor Onur Bakiner is an associate professor of political science at Seattle University. He earned his PhD from Yale University and is an alum of Seattle University, one of those rare faculty who have earned a PhD, but is so curious that went on then to do a master's in computer science just to expand his own knowledge base. His research and teaching interests include transitional justice, human rights, judicial politics, and technology in society. Professor Bakiner has been recognized with several awards, including the Outstanding Scholarship Award with the Seattle University College of Arts and Sciences in 2018, and the Best Book Award from the American Political Science Association Human Rights section in 2017. Recent relevant publications include his 2023 publication, The Promises and Challenges of Addressing Artificial Intelligence with Human Rights, Big Data and Society, Pluralistic and Socio-Technological Imageries in Artificial Intelligence and Law, The Case of European Union's AI Regulation, and What Do Academics Say About Artificial Intelligence Ethics, an overview of the scholarship. Please join me in welcoming and recognizing Dr. Onur Bakiner.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Wonderful. Thank you so much for coming to the 2024 conference on healthcare and artificial intelligence. Before we continue with today's program, I would like us to acknowledge one more time the enormous labor that has gone into this conference. So all of the Seattle U faculty and staff and administrators who have done all this work to make this conference possible, please give it up for them one more time. Thank you. So before I talk about the Technology Ethics Initiative, I would like to say a few words about this year's theme, healthcare and AI. That is because I believe that the area of healthcare embodies the promises of what AI can do to help us live better, healthier, more meaningful lives. And so in areas as varied as drug discovery, diagnostics, patient care, artificial intelligence can bring enormous transformative change. Sometimes consumer-facing artificial intelligence products can be criticized for being solutions in need of a problem. Nobody says that about healthcare and AI. The transformative potential is there. And every day, pixel by pixel, enzyme by enzyme, code by code, we see that change happening. So the promise is great. So is the peril. Perhaps a false negative might mean that you're not getting, an additional sort of favorite cat video if the issue area is visualization. Or a little bit, more seriously, a false negative might mean somebody being denied an opportunity in many sectors. When it comes to healthcare, a false negative literally means life or death, right? So the margin of error is as close to zero as it can get. And so in that way, healthcare and AI really embodies the the great promises as well as challenges of our day. And so we are proud today to have 10 distinguished speakers who are going to share their knowledge, their research, and their insights into this area alongside our moderators from Seattle University. Now, with that, I would like to talk a little bit more about what the Technology Ethics Initiative is, what we are hoping to do here. And of course, we are just starting, so we can get ambitious, we can get dreamy. Our ultimate goal, our ultimate vision is to live in a world where every deployer, developer of technology, let's call them makers, every maker has both the education, but also the incentives, the right incentives to develop technology in a safe, responsible way. And every lawmaker, every regulator, every compliance officer, let's call them the enforcers, every enforcer understands the technical intricacies of the issues that they are hoping to regulate. And so they can direct technology in a way that benefits the social good. And of course, for everybody else, again, what we envision is a world in which citizens are informed about the nature of the technologies that shape their lives. They can be co-participants in directing the nature of technological change. So this is really the broader vision that we have when we are launching the Technology Ethics Initiative here at Seattle University. And our theory of change is that through community building, through education, through research, and through thought leadership, we can, in fact, make a positive difference. We can change mindsets as well as incentive structures to sort of produce as well as regulate technology. And so this is the second year that we are holding this conference. And well, this is a good time to perhaps announce that we are going to have the 2025 version of this conference on June 18th. So mark your calendars, June 18th, 2025. Wednesday is when we are going to have our sort of next conference on governing AI, law, and policy. Broadly defined, governing AI, law, and policy. Some lawyers in the room. Right. So we've been holding the conference. We have been very active in sort of also recruiting from within Seattle University cohorts of scholars who work on technology and ethics, very broadly defined. I was very lucky to be a fellow working under my colleague Nathan Colliner. And I had the opportunity to meet people from the College of Nursing, School of Law, Business School, as well as obviously my own arts and sciences. And so we have been building these connections as well. So looking into the future, what we are hoping to do is build these connections further, become community builders and thought leaders that, well, we already are, but you know, also do this in ways that bring in the community, and Seattle community, but also our allies and friends and colleagues outside of the Seattle community. Now, perhaps we should, you know, talk a little bit also about what it is that makes Seattle University unique in this regard. One thing is we are nimble. We have sort of the numbers for our processes to scale up, but also this is the kind of campus where people know each other by name, by face. And so that brings us to perhaps a second strength, which is our interdisciplinarity. So as we speak right now, I'm pretty sure that somebody at Seattle U, say a computer scientist, is writing an email to a philosopher asking about the next technology reading group that we are going to be having. Or a nurse is, or a nursing scholar is talking to a legal scholar about an event that they attended 2 weeks ago, so reflecting on it. Or a media and communications scholar is talking to a mechanical engineer to write a scholarly grant. So in that way, we are truly interdisciplinary in what we do here. And by the way, these were all real examples of things that we have been doing at Seattle University. And then another perhaps unique strength that we have is that ethics is very much baked into our education, pedagogy, but also mode of being. And I use ethics in the plural here. We agree on a lot of things, and when we disagree, we disagree. And that is because everybody here takes our slogan, which is educating the whole person for a just and humane society, very seriously. You know, many of you probably crossed sort of from Jimmy's across the street to the Seattle U campus from north. And ask any student, you know, you start from north, and by the time you come to Campion Ballroom, for a student, you will have at least taken 2 or 3 ethical reasoning courses. That is how we teach, and again, that is how we structure our entire sort of teaching as well as research endeavor. And so what we're hoping to do is bring that ethical perspective more centrally into our production, but also understanding and regulation of technology. So perhaps, you know, to close this section, and I was thinking of an appropriate analogy, and perhaps the one appropriate analogy that I could come up with was that we here at Seattle U's Technology Ethics Initiative, we want to be friends. We want to be friends with makers and with enforcers and with everyone else. in the sense that, well, we invite you to our parties, and we want to be invited to your parties. And we want to support and encourage people who do things, who build things. We want to always sort of start from this position that, you know, we can build better together. Also, as friends, we want to make sure that you know our friends, that this place becomes a place where networking and community building happens. And of course, you know, there's one other thing that good friends do. They always tell the truth. And so we also want to be friends, well, in good days as well as in bad ones. And so with that sort of spirit in mind, I would like us to move forward with today's conference. So a couple of housekeeping issues. We have a packed agenda today, but refreshments will be available in the back of the room. And so, you know, please help yourselves. The restrooms are located right outside the ballroom, so, you know, through the lobby. And then you're going to find 2 QR codes on your table and name badge. So, you know, one takes you to today's digital program, and then the other one allows you to submit questions to the panelists. So please submit questions throughout the day, and, you know, we'll aggregate them and use them in the Q&A. And again, you know, thank you for, we would like to thank Microsoft for making today's event possible. And we would also like to thank GeekWire for being our media sponsor. Okay, so without further ado, I would like to introduce Alex John London to stage to deliver the very first lecture of the day. Alex, please welcome to stage.